Hey everyone, this is Cameron, the co-host and editor of Renegade Animation on renegadepopculture.com. If you like what we do, please give us a like, a follow, and a rating on Apple Podcast or wherever you listen to us. We are everywhere where you love podcasts. And if you can, consider supporting our Patreon. That way we can keep doing what we love, and that's talking about the wild world of animation. And now, on with the show.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Renegade Animation on the Renegade Pop Culture Podcast Network. My name is Mike. I'll be your host for this evening. Joining me, as always, is the animation guru himself, Cameron.
Howdy, howdy.
And on today's episode, we will be talking about Volume 4 of Love, Death, and Robots. Last one came out in, 2022?
Golly, was that long ago? God, it makes sense. They were busy doing the secret levels thing for Amazon, and then now it's like they're back on Netflix with their new batch of sci-fi short stories or sci-fi stories. Because I don't know, maybe it's because this show's getting a little long in the tooth. It seems like we are still having to deal with the fact that some of this is kind of tangentially related to the themes of Love, Death, and Robots. Not that this was a bad season, mind you. Any season that has a Robert Valley short is going to be dynamite. But I don't know. This time around, I felt like I wasn't really feeling all of the shorts. We'll go through them, but Mike, what did you think about this season?
I think my feelings on this season overall are kind of similar to Volume 3 from what I remember. Definitely more of a mixed bag, but at least what I appreciate about it is animation-wise, there is a little bit more variety. It's not like every single short, like that hyper-realistic 3D animation. I have 2D animation. The thumbnail is probably one of my favorites. That's like a parody of Creature Comforts.
I think this one might have the most variety among its selection because it's also the most recent season of this show to bring back the live action shorts, or the mostly live action with CGI animation to bounce off of the actors and such, because I think the last time we dealt with that was in season 1 with the couple looking inside their freezer that had like a whole civilization evolving inside of it.
Oh,
and in this one, yeah, it was weird because my friend and I were watching this last night, and we were wondering if this was extremely impressive looking CGI or if it was just live action. And then the way they move, it's like you can tell it's live action. It's the weight of how the characters move. But let's just talk about the shorts. It's funny because a lot of these are, well, short. Like, I think the longest one goes is at least 16 minutes. Because otherwise they're all like 5 or 6 minutes to 10 to 12 minutes also. So, not that that's a bad thing. I think for some of these shorts, it's as long as they need it to be.
I think a perfect example of that, the first one, which is really just, I don't know if it's CGI or actual puppets, but it's a puppet performance of Can't Stop by the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Well, and also a very specific performance of theirs from Live at Slane Castle in 2003. This one is very CGI. You can tell by the texture work of it all. And it's how the characters move. They move like how you would imagine an animator moving like a floaty body with strings and such. It was fine. I think it was my least favorite. Well, no, I'd say it's my second to bottom one for this batch from this season because it's technically labeled as love because it's the director's love for the Red Hot Chili Peppers. And I mean, it's a good song. Like, that's not, I'm not going to say this, I don't like the Red Hot Chili Peppers, but I feel like there should have been more to it. Like, why the puppets? What's with the puppet gimmick? What was there supposed to be more to it? And then there was just like, David Fincher was just like, no, I just want to make a loving homage to the Red Hot Chili Peppers, which I'll say this, at least it's not trying to push some kind of NFT thing like the last season was with the 3 robots and, oh, what was it? The Jibaro shorts that advertise NFT connections at the end of their shorts. At least here it's just maybe a kind of brand sponsorship of just like, hey, here's Red Hot Chili Peppers, a music video for them. It reminds me of, oh, what's that song that the Beastie Boys did an anniversary special for, and they had like Elijah Wood, Seth Rogen, and I forgot the third actor that they got to play them in the music video and such.
I can't remember what that song is, but that was a fun video.
That's how I feel about this one. It's a fun video, but there's not much to talk about. They kind of hint at maybe something else going on, but it's more a celebration for the band itself. So,
Yeah, my main takeaway from this is, for those who don't know, David Fincher got his start directing music videos, so this kind of just feels like he's returning to his roots and having fun with animation. That's all it really needed to be.
I was wondering if they're going to do like what the Foo Fighters did, where they made their own little horror movie and such. Like, I feel like that would have been kind of more interesting than just a music video, but, you know, it's whatever. Now, the second one is a sequel, or at least a sequel in style only, as it's Close Encounters of the Mini Kind, which is a sequel to the last one, where it's the same team. It's the isometric tiny mini world, where the first one had a zombie outbreak, just tore the whole world apart. This one is an alien invasion with a unfortunate wardrobe malfunction that causes the end of that one section of the overall Milky Way universe. It's funny how it's a mix of Mars Attacks, War of the Worlds, with like hyper Looney Tune antics, with a more adult comedic tone to it, even though there were only really like 2 really adult, or I guess racy jokes, with the farmer getting probed because he was about to do the deed with a cow. What the hell, people? And then the one guy coming out of an S&M sex club being like, yes, pick me for the love of God. And then it's just humans fighting back. And then just because we don't know any better, we get ourselves killed and the whole world gets sucked into a black hole. Like, on one hand, I'm like, okay, I'm kind of done with the edgy shock humor of this series, but I'm also like, it was still so funny.
It's the comic timing of this whole thing being played in pretty much fast forward. All of the events from the first encounter to the entire solar system heading into a black hole.
It's like a reverse Independence Day with the president giving a hopefully inspirational, heroic speech right before getting stepped on by one of the tripods. And I loved the aliens getting the tar kicked out of them by the veterans at the veterans home.
Oh,
and
yes.
then what I assume was an Irish pub, like a bunch of drunk Irish beat the tar out of an alien and got their gun and what have you. I really like the look of this short. I've always liked it when Love, Death, and Robots chose a different art style for their shorts. And I saw something today that's like, it angles like real live action footage in an isometric view, and I don't know if it's like it chops the frames away a little so it does something, or whatever, how it's processed makes it look exactly like this short. It was really weird. I mean, it was impressive because, when Silicon Valley dipshits aren't ruining the environment with their AI nonsense, you can do cool things with technology, man. Technology and science can be cool when used in the right hands.
Exactly.
But otherwise, it's just shenanigans, dark comedy escalating to the death of the human race, and then just in the grand scheme of things, very Men in Black ending where, yeah, we're gone. Okay. We're very small in this grand scheme of things. So, no, it was a cute short directed by Robert Bissey and Andy Lyon from Buck Studios. Now, here we go with the third one, Spider Rose. It kind of took me a while to get the point of this one, except it was like, it's all about the motherhood, taking care of your young one, and then like what spiders do. Like baby spiders will eat their mom. So the way this short ends is, how it is. The ending is just kind of like, what? But then you read up about kind of the thematic context of it all. It's a little more interesting, but I would say this is another one where it's low on the tier list for me of Love, Death, and Robots shorts.
I liked it better than Swarm, which these two are set in the same universe. I think what I like about it is just the bond that Spider Rose has with whatever that creature is.
Right. Yeah, Little Nose for Profits is the name of this little Stitch-like axolotl salamander-looking thing that adapts to the situation depending on what it eats. And since Spider Rose, voiced by Emily O'Brien, tends to... Basically what happened is Spider Rose is by herself, isolated in this little asteroid field where she is mining crystals using spider robots, and her whole body is like mostly robotic. It's like guy sci-fi. For a robot, she has nipples for some reason. It's just funny because it's when you're not fully engrossed in certain stories, your mind starts to wander, and it's just like, why? Okay. I mean, it's just fine. It's a solid little story about motherhood and how she wants to get revenge from the aliens, or the clone of the aliens that killed her colony. And there are some good performances. Like I said, Emily O'Brien's good. Fyodor Chin is good as Jade Prime, and he also plays Diego, the dead lover of Spider Rose. And Piotr Michael plays the investor, the weird-looking, Mass Effect-looking alien. And then Sumali Motano, who we would know from like The Ghost and Molly McGee and such, among other shows, games, and what have you, like Terminator Zero and Dragon Age Absolution. Like, it's fine. I think the Close Encounters of the Many Kind is still the best one as we go through these. And then 400 Boys, the short that finally kind of gives you something to chew on. Because it's not only a Robert Valley short, so his art style is going to be amazing.
Absolutely.
It's the short that I would argue has the most depth to it. Or at least the most fleshed out world. Maybe outside of the Creature Comforts parody that we'll talk about later. It's about a street gang trying to harness their powers to take down these certain giants, or as they're later labeled as, the 400 Boys. And here's the process of when I was watching this. It was like a bit of Mad Max. It was a bit of Attack on Titan from the sound of things. Because it's like they keep talking about these giants, these big boys that would kill people, cause chaos and mass destruction, violence, while these humans are either living underground or are dead. And we get a gang that is led by Slash, voiced by the always delightful John Boyega. And he meets Ed Screen, who plays a character named Hilo, whose like gang got destroyed by the 400 boys. We have Dwayne Walcott, who plays Jade, Vave O'Claw, voiced by Rahul Kohli, and Crybaby, voiced by Amar Chada Patel. Like, first of all, Robert Valley, man. Such a visually distinct artist and visionary. It is so cool to see his artwork in motion. Even with that, what was it called? Agent Elvis show that we watched? The best thing was Robert Valley's artwork. He just, like, people say, well, all adult animation looks the same. And it's just like, not with Robert Valley, man. Robert Valley is dynamite.
You can just tell whenever you see one of his character designs that he has his fingerprints all over this.
And the world and atmosphere, it's like, it's unnerving. There's a real sense of dread as these characters traverse these destroyed wastelands. At first, I was thinking, we're never going to see these giants. The giants are a metaphor. Like, when they were called the big boys or the 400 boys, I was like, oh, is this like a World War II metaphor where we were dropping bombs and such? You would name your bombers and the bombs that we dropped on hundreds of people. But then it was just like, oh, they're giant babies. Oh, that's creepy in a whole lot of ways. And they're actually like threats, like actual like monstrous threats to them. But then, like, as they fought, some died, some survived. They took down the 400 boys. It feels like it's just with how the dialogue works and how, like, they word everything. It was like a thematic story of the never-ending cycle of violence. It's like these 400 boys are newborns, brought into a world of violence and chaos. Some of it to their own actions, but from the actions of everyone else. It was like the most substantial short of this batch so far.
Yeah, I think that's why I kind of took to this one probably the most. It's this, and we'll get to the Creature Comforts parody later. This is exactly what I'm talking about when I'm saying, like, the thing that I love about this series is you do get variety in different art styles.
I hope Robert Valley is still working on that movie that he announced a while back, because a whole feature-length movie with his work would be great. That short, I think it was like Pear Cider and Cigarettes or something like that. It was nominated a few years ago for Best Animated Feature. It works. Even if it's like a 35-minute short, the way that shots are executed with how dynamic everything looks, it's a cool look, and I wish more studios were willing to try to use or hire him for his work. But then we get back into the comedy of things with Patrick Osborne, the director of Academy Award-winning short Feast, with The Other Large Thing, which, to like me and my friend shock, because I didn't look into any of this. I saw the trailer, I was like, oh, neat, whatever. It's another season. Let's see what happens. We quickly found out it's a prequel to the Three Robots continuity. So this is how the cat uprising happens, because of a fairly disgruntled Persian cat named Sanchez. It becomes hateful and despises his human owners, who are played to be the most ugly and unintelligent, unlikable people, because it's just how cats view humans, I guess, or at least this cat views as human. And he befriends this robot that the couple buys, that is voiced by John Oliver himself. And they slowly start to grow a bond. And then because how the robots work and how, you got to read that fine print when you're getting an all-knowing and all-powerful robots. Kills the humans, the owners, and then starts, Viva la Revolution with the cats and robots uprising against humankind. And it was funny. It was delightful. I love the shift in perspective where Sanchez, who is voiced by the always delightful Chris Parnell, is talking like so maliciously and evil. And then when it goes from the human's perspective, you just hear like little meow, 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 meow.
That never gets old to me. Whenever,
no, it's a reoccurring joke that always works. But this was fun. It's like, yeah, it's not a 3 robots focused short, but it's takes place in that world, even though I will be pedantic and be like, that's not the same cat from 3 robots that because this is an orange Persian cat and not a I think like a short brown tabby or something like that, but that doesn't matter. It's a funny short. It gets the point across. Again, 9 minutes. That's perfect length for this. You don't drag it out. You leave enough to know exactly what happened afterwards, which just makes all the context of the 3 robots exploring the desolate wasteland that was Earth even funnier because of the fact that the cats took everything over and were able to do it so easily, to the fact that I guess just in this whole franchise, humans are just fucked.
Basically, how this short pretty much is an extension of the joke that every cat owner says, like, oh, it's their house, we just live here.
Exactly. And then the big reveal of Sanchez's real name, like it declares a new age and like in the name of Dingleberry Jones. Probably the most threatening Chris Parnell has ever like sounded. It just so happens in this universe that humans are just the dumbest people on the planet, which fair.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Now, this is the one where I feel like this might be my least favorite. The Golgotha. This is the live action one where we have a priest played by Rice Darby who meets up with an alien to talk about this supposed Lord of the Ocean that they want to see what's going on. And apparently there was some interaction, and both the alien like visitors and the humans did something to the black fin per se. And they start talking about some kind of moral quandary of just like humans and their actions and the consequences and stuff. And Rice Darby is always fun to watch. But I will say, this is the one where I feel like being short hurt it. Because it starts off like the opening to something much more entertaining. And then it just ends. It's the earwig and the witch situation where you end on the most interesting part, but it just feels like an incomplete story.
Yeah, I kind of felt that too. Gone on for longer, but they just kind of end it at like a very anticlimactic point.
I mean, I love the punchline that basically turns this into Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, where the almighty Dark Fin is a dolphin. Just a dolphin. And apparently the dolphin was talking to the alien and was just like, yeah, we gotta do full-blown war and mass murder of the humans before they cause any more trouble. And that's it. I will say the ending line is funny, where the other priest comes up to Rice Darby and they're just like, what happened here? What's going on? And Rice Darby is just like, I think we fucked up.
That line is great.
And the animation is fine on this one, but it doesn't quite look as cohesive as it could have. I think that's a lot of that's because they're out in the open, where the last time they did a live action short, it was all from the humans looking inside their freezer. So you could hide everything in like shadows and darkness and work with the lighting there. Here, the alien design is whatever, but it just never felt like it was fully there, which is always tough. Like, Who Framed Roger Rabbit might be archaic to some people, but to pull that off was like a trial by fire for everyone involved. Because I'm just like, how the heck are we going to make this look good? Even Song of the South had this issue where they had humans interacting with animated characters, and it just doesn't quite work. I mean, it looks great for the time it was released. I mean, there's no denying that. But here, I don't know. It just, there's nothing as appealing about it with it to CGI, even though Mo Daniels does a very good job as the alien interpreter Lupo. But otherwise, I think this one might be my least favorite among the bunch.
Yeah, for me, this is pretty close to the bottom. The next one, I'm not going to say it's like at the top, but I'd say in the upper half of the middle. The screaming of the Tyrannosaur.
I mean, cool premise. It's a dystopian, distant future where the royal wedding is, instead of just getting a cover band or something to play your favorite tunes, they scientifically enhance humans to be super warriors. And not only super warriors that ride dinosaurs.
I believe this is the short that Zack Snyder was supposed to direct, but he backed out because of his commitments to Rebel Moon.
Oh, Rebel Moon. Rebel Moon. This one is so like a 12-year-old came up with the idea. I know it's based off of a short story. I think it is. But it's just so a child would come up with this. And I mean that in the best way possible. It's got no logical reasoning. It's a world that takes place in like a Halo from Halo, or like that Crescent Moon port from Treasure Planet. And it's just people riding dinosaurs and beating each other up. I would say like the struggle of like finding freedom for the people who are being taken advantage of by the super wealthy would be a lot cooler if it didn't have Mr. Beast.
That is the asterisk and why I can't call this like the best.
I am so sick and tired of everyone trying to make Mr. Beast a thing outside of YouTube. It's not going to happen, man. I know that Amazon reality game show was apparently a hit, but it just seems like he's not a good actor. He has no real lasting impression, and I'm wondering if he's going to ever be aware that he's the bad guy in this. And part of me wonders, because this was by Tim Miller's, and it feels like kind of like a Miller thing to do, to have him, one of the biggest polarizing figures on YouTube, play the evil announcer and such. Even down to him actually looking like him. Like, I don't know. Or I just wonder if you just roll with the punches and be like, yeah, I know people hate me, so why not play the ideal part? I don't know, man. It's a really distracting choice because he's there for the whole short and he cannot act. His voice is whatever, and nothing fun happened to him. The royal wedding couple get eaten by dinosaurs, but man, you're telling me you put Mr. Beast in a Love, Death, and Robots short and he doesn't die? If I showed up on one of these things, I'd be like, get me vaporized by like an alien or something. I don't care.
Seriously.
It's like that Roland Emmerich Godzilla movie that had the obvious Siskel and Ebert placeholders.
And they got mad that they didn't get eaten.
Yeah, they were like, what the heck? If you're going to be a baby about us criticizing your movies, at least kill us in the movie. It's just, it's funny how that works. It's more in the middle for me. A neat idea, good animation, good fun action. But I do love this next one, How Zeke Got Religion, by Diego Peral and animated by Titmouse. Titmouse is doing some cool stuff with animation. It is very neat how they're all doing this. It's about a World War II group of soldiers going on a bomb raid, and they have a special passenger in the plane where, you know, it's like, who's that guy? He's Mr. shut the hell up and you're never going to find out. Basically, it's like, what if this took place in like the Hellboy universe? This guy is like a supernatural doctor and such. This plane is going to bomb this one specific location, but at a very specific moment, because obviously the whole myth and rumor of the Nazis is that Hitler believed in the supernatural and such, and that's why he sent a bunch of his people to grab a bunch of super religious relics and stuff. Like, if you've read anything about that, it's basically in that mindset of how the Nazis are portrayed here. They're killing priests to summon basically a angel, or, you know, I guess one of those like Bible accurate angels that are way more horrifying than the people wearing robes and playing harps.
Yeah, I believe they actually call this demon like the Fallen. It's very biblically accurate.
It reminds me, I don't know if have you seen Heavy Metal? Like the 70s movie?
Not the whole way through, but I know kind of what you're getting at.
Because this is like that World War II bomber short where the zombies take over and such. Except here, the bombing squad get attacked by a fallen angel, and they all start dying one by one. And throughout like the whole story, everyone's like, you're just wondering, why is it called like how Zeke got religion? Because he's the only person on the plane that does not believe in it. Full-blown atheist. Until the Fallen hitches a ride on the plane and starts killing them all one by one in gruesome, very Tetsuo like blob monster fashion, which is also a reoccurring thing in this season because of the 400 boys, when they get shrunk down and such, go very reverse Tetsuo blob human flesh monsters from Akira and such. And I love it. Like, it's a very dark punchline of, yeah, Zeke got religion because he almost died in a literal religious encounter with a fallen angel, and through the grace of God was one of the 2 or 3 survivors of the plane. Like, the plane didn't even crash. Like, they took out that thing while in the air, and at the end he's just like, I'll grab this cross, I'll grab this Bible. I get it.
This was his Danny DeVito moment from It's Always Sunny.
And it's got a cool art style. It's very similar to like the Mike Mignola art style for Hellboy. Has that cool comic book like visual look with the flat conflicting colors. And the angel, or the fallen angel, whatever it is, very cool looking. Just anytime like an angel enemy has like a cherub or child face for part of its face, always creepy. Always creepy.
They really did a good job making that design just look absolutely terrifying.
Like, it's also the more straightforward short of the bunch. It's just World War II bombing goes wrong. Very, very wrong.
Almost kind of reminds me of that movie Overlord from a few years ago.
Yeah, that was a fun movie. I like that one. Mike, I assume this is one of your favorites, or at least your favorite of the bunch?
Like my top 3. Smart Appliances, Stupid Owners. So this is a mockumentary of a bunch of different appliances. What they're doing is they're just complaining about how dumb their owners are. It is a pretty celebrity-forward cast with Melissa Villaseñor, Ronnie Chang, Amy Sedaris, Kevin Hart, Josh Brenner, Nat Faxon, Niecy Nash-Betts, and Brett Goldstein.
Yeah, it is. I mean, like, that's what I like about Love, Death, and Robots. It gives you a more opportunistic time to let voice actors just be the star of it all, or at the very least get character actors. This is, probably the most celebrity-fronted short of the bunch. And it is all about a bunch of appliances in your house being annoyed with you, which fair, I understand. Like the thermostat, voiced by Melissa Villaseñor, being annoyed with being turned up, down, up, down, up, down, and just being like, dual climate change, people. We have that setting for a reason. And then she just turns to like frigid 30%. And let's just see how these people deal with being like below freezing weather then. And then Ronnie Chang plays the electric toothbrush. It's like, I'm supposed to clean your teeth and help fight bacteria, but Kevin uses me only once a week. And then when he goes to the dentist's office and dentist asks what's wrong, he's like, well, I don't know what happened. I brush every day. Don't put me in your party of lies, Kevin. Ronnie Chang, man, super lovable. I love this guy. He's one of those actors I see anytime he shows up, you know he's going to put in a great, funny performance.
Oh, yeah.
And the Amy Sedaris playing the security camera is very funny. It's just like, I see everything. I see the drug addicts, meth addicts going on. It's like, it's tiring. I want it to stop.
1, 2, 3, 4 is not a strong password.
And then probably the one I was probably the most surprised by, Kevin Hart playing the air ionizer in a more subdued, funny role. Like, he's not doing his more loud, bombastic comedy. I don't think he really does that anymore from the last time I've seen his work. And he's just playing this subdued, very annoyed air purifier. He's saying, like, this guy eats a lot of lentils, and I don't clean the air. I just absorb it. You gotta clean the filter out of me. Because you don't want to know what this room smells like. And then, oh god, the showerhead, voiced by Josh Brenner. He does 2 characters in his shorts, where he's just like, I have all these fancy options, but I only get used for one option, and it's a masturbation joke. So, like, she's lonely. It's the dating life's been hard, and I just want this to be a consensual, respectful partnership. And speaking of how raunchy things get, well, before we do, Nat Faison, in one of his few roles where he's not bringing up the nasally like sound of his voice, as the waffle maker, you get when at every wedding the couple gets a waffle maker. They say, "Wow, we're going to make waffles every day." Never uses it, which it's an easy joke, but it's also like accurate. Like,
yeah, pretty much.
Because how many times have what married couples gotten a gift? It's like this cool piece of technology, never use it, and
then eventually gets regifted like 7 different times.
Oh, exactly. Like, do what my family does with their waffle maker. Use it to roast shishito peppers. Like, delicious stuff, man. And then there's the let's not beat around the bush. It's a vibrator. Niecy Nash voices this character, and she's just like, I don't get my owner's fixation. Anytime I'm in use, she puts on 2 episodes of Chopped. Funny enough, my friend had to pause the short to look at what Chopped was. I was like, yeah, it's a cooking competition show. And she was like, huh, okay. Even though the vibrator was like, I prefer Squid Game, and let's not dive into my kinks. Oh, gosh. It's like one of the few times where being a raunchy comedy actually works out in its favor, because the charm, Creature Comforts, is the fact that they're interviewing like extremely random people, not like celebrities or whatever. And they take whatever sounds the funniest and then pair it up with an animal that would be like an interesting contrast. Like, there's a guy they interviewed in one short where the guy goes like, I am really not a deep water swimmer. I don't like the deep ocean. It scares me. I don't like not knowing what's below me. And then they pair it up with a visual of a shark talking. So it's stuff like that. And even though this does not have the same level of like nuance as that, it's still very funny because it's taking mundane moments and making it funny. It's a Brian Regan, Jim Gaffigan bit brought to life through. I'm going to assume this was faux stop motion. You know, it's like CGI and such.
It looks a bit too clean to be like actual stop motion, but they also get as close as possible. If you didn't know any better, you could potentially be fooled into thinking this was stop motion.
Right. Oh, God. Brett Goldstein as the toilet, though. The best question asked throughout this whole season is, whose idea was it to give toilets sentience? And it's like, oh, no. The refrigerator contacted me, and he said it's taco night. And it's like, no. Like, man, my life sucks. And then it cuts to the litter box, like those electric litter boxes, with Josh Brenner coming back and just ending it perfectly on the toilet thinks it has a bad life. Please. And then the cat walks in, poops in, and then the short ends.
If you like stick around for the credits, you hear the sound of the self-cleaning litter box.
Oh, God. Yeah, I would say this is a top 3. It's the one that has like the most realized premise of the bunch because it's so simple and straightforward. It's not trying to overcomplicate. It's not ending when it's about to get good. It's just funny. And it's low-key funny in a way that I think most people would find funny because I know sometimes it's hard for people to get into raunchier humor. I have my limits. But this is that one where it's like I think everyone will get a laugh out of the vibrator gag. So, but we then end on Or He Can Creep by Polygon Pictures, which I didn't even realize that was Polygon Pictures. I just thought it was another CGI studio that did this cool comic book art style, like gothic horror look to everything. But Polygon Pictures, man, when you give them the right talent and team behind it, they can put out good stuff. I'm kind of sad people keep thinking them as like, or keep labeling them as like the B grade Studio Orange because they just have slightly clunkier CGI use compared to Studio Orange being like, you know, amazing at what they do.
This year, between this short and Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, Polygon Pictures has stepped up its game.
Very much so. I thought this was a funny one where it's about a cat protecting his owner from Satan because Satan wants the owner to write a poem for it. And I love that Satan is not just a big monster and such. He's voiced by Dan Stevens. He looks like a scumbag. And instead of being like, I will tear your neck from your body and drain you of your blood, he's like, okay, this looks good. Here are 3 suggestions of fixes. Here you go. And the Christopher the Poet, voiced by Jim Broadbent, it's just like, golly, the biggest critics are devils. And how the cats are like, we gotta protect the owner because he feeds me well. It's very funny how the cat can be the most evil thing in the room, even compared to Satan himself being in that room. Like Jeffrey, voiced by J.B. Blanc, Night Hunter Moppet, who is his little kitten, who has the most epic name of the cats. But they're like, shh, there they are, Night Hunter Moppet. And it's this little tiny kitten with superpowers. Okay. She's voiced by Nika Futterman, who we just talked about with Tales of the Underground and such. And then we got Jane Leaves as Polly and Tom, voiced by Dave B. Mitchell. I mean, it's just funny. It's a bunch of cats trying to protect the poet from Satan. What else do you want?
Yeah, it's got a fun premise. It has gorgeous animation.
It's shorts like this and The Smart Appliances, Stupid Owners is where I think Love, Death, and Robots is at its best. I mean, like, I love shorts like the one where a bunch of like toxic, roided out men get killed by a robot bear, like cyborg bear.
Oh, I did like that one too.
Because I just love Jennifer Yu Nelson being behind that short. Even though, like, it gives me the line that I keep quoting all the time the fuck you, honey badger. And yeah, I mean, that's really it for this season. How would you rank these, Mike? Like from your least favorite to your favorite?
So, least favorite would probably be, I would say least favorite is Golgotha. Then above that would be Can't Stop. Then Spider Rose. Then the Screaming of the Tyrannosaur. Then it would be The Other Large Thing, 400 Boys, How Zeke Got Religion, For He Can Creep, The Other Large Thing, and Smart Appliances, Stupid Odors.
Yeah, I think Golgotha was my least favorite. Then Can't Stop. And then Spider Rose. Then The Screaming of the Tyrannosaur. Then Close Encounters of the Mini Kind.
Ooh, I knew I was forgetting one.
The Other Large Thing. For He Can Creep. How Zeke Got His Religion. Smart Appliances, Stupid Owners. And then 400 Boys. What I'm ready for with Love, Death, and Robots. I mean, if they can keep making these, keep making them. I think for the most part, these anthology series will offer more good than bad. I think I'm ready to see new talent. Like, I know Jennifer Yu Nelson was an overall person who helped with this season. I'm ready to see new stories, like at least more new stories, and not having to rely on the fact that like one of them is connected to the 3 robots or one is connected to Swarm and such. Like standalone stories. I don't know if it would cost too much to get them in, but seeing like Edgar Wright or Wes Anderson do an animated short would be a lot of fun.
Ooh. Yeah, I think what I want to see for Volume 5, I know the reason why he couldn't was because he had other things going on, but I do want to see Zack Snyder do something for the series and also have this be like a platform for fresh new talent. Something that Pixar is kind of no longer doing because they haven't really been doing the Spark shorts. And Disney hasn't been doing like their short form things either. This would be like the perfect place for younger, fresh talent to cut their teeth in this amazing medium.
Yeah, I think that would be a great way to use this platform because we need to keep like making new talent because you can't just rely on the same 5 people like forever. I mean, that's what happened with Disney back when Walt Disney died. They just said, hey, let's rely on the 9 old men. They know what they're doing, right? And, you know, doesn't always work out for them. So they just had to start bringing in new talent. And I want to see less of the hyper realistic stuff. I don't want to see live action. I don't want to really see realistic CGI unless it's part of an interesting story. I don't really want to see the live action stuff. I know they've only done it twice, but it just doesn't work well with what this whole series is all about. I don't know if I want to see another Can't Stop like short. Again, I like it. I feel bad for kind of bashing it, but it's like, what does it have to do with everything that this anthology has to offer? Or if you want to keep doing this, bring in other like do what the Star Wars Visions series does. Bring in studios from around the world and such to tell their own sci-fi like robots like short story or something like that. And it would be cool to see what other countries could come up with their own version of Love, Death, and Robots.
That would be awesome.
I mean, there's a reason why Star Wars Visions 2 is my favorite of the bunch so far, because you just see how much more interesting a world Star Wars is through the eyes of creatives from all over the world. I mean, this was a very light episode. A lot of these shorts don't have too much to talk about in terms of thematic commentary. they're really there just to be cool animated tech demos, fun little experiences, and just another excuse to show off Robert Valley and his cool world of art and such. I kind of needed that because we're about to really focus on getting ready to do the anime podcast and takeaway stuff. So we needed something a little more lightweight to talk about for this episode.
Yeah. Consider this episode the calm before the storm because it's
So much
it's
anime,
going to be
man.
fun, but it's going to be a lot.
Yeah. So we're going to take like 2 weeks to really prep with this one. So be ready.
But until then, Cameron, where can everyone find you online?
You can find me on Blue Sky at camsiview.biz. I have a website called camsiview.biz where I review animated films and shows from around the world called The Other Side of Animation. I am a contributor to Media Magpies, a new website for like pop culture, film, TV, animation, comics, like conversation starters. I like recently just put up my like the Annecy Film Festival editorial and why it rocks, so give that a read. And I have a Patreon at patreon.com/camsiview. That's where you can find me.
And you guys can find me on various social media sites at Captain K42. You can check out my quick thoughts on letterboxd.com/CoachK42. And you can follow Renegade Pop Culture on Facebook and Blue Sky at Renegade Pop Culture. You can also find us on YouTube, on Podchaser. Consider supporting our Patreon at patreon.com/Renegade Pop Culture. Listen to all of our podcasts on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen. And last but not least, everything can be found at renegadepopculture.com. Need to escape? So do we. That'll do it for this episode of Renegade Animation. We will catch you guys later. Peace out.